So how did you stay together all those years?
Well, first of all, two very strong-willed people. You all know that. Very difficult at times because we both knew what was best. And they weren't always the same thing. So, I don't know. I remember Barbie asked at the 50th anniversary party. Remember Barbie was there? She asked, how do we stay married 50 years? And my answer was, you have to have a sense of humor. And she said, I just talked to her at the beach. She said, if that isn't the truth, you have to have a sense of humor or you'll never survive it. Sometimes I think maybe the good Lord just meant us not to ever leave each other. But I'm not sure, because we did have some knockdown dragouts. And of course we had some nice forgiveness times too. Before we got married, we were at a theater watching some musical. I'm not even sure which one it was. Some musical had come from New York to Chicago. And this is when we were engaged. And we got to talking. He had 7 brothers and sisters, so it was always so much more fun at his house than my house. I always said, oh, I have so much more fun at your house, because there's all these sisters and brothers. He was the second of 8. And all these sisters and brothers laughing and teasing and carrying on. And I just knew I just didn't want to have 1 or 2 kids. I said something about 4, and he said, well, 4 sounds like a good number. And then the Lord overblessed us with Jimmy and Judy. At the theater, we're looking at the program, and the program had a girl dancer named Janice, Janyce. And that just struck me. I thought, I love the name Janice, and it's different. So I showed it to Jack, and he said, well, we know the first boy has to be John Nicholas Ralston IV. So the first girl will be Janice, spelt that way. So that was the first 2. And we didn't get much farther along, but eventually we ended up saying, oh, Jeffrey Stephen would be a pretty name. And then Jean, and I didn't know what name to put with Jean. And Lois Brookshire had a daughter named Patrice. Of course, at the same time, Patrice Lumumba was the dictator in Africa. I said, if we ever have a little girl, it'll be Jean Patrice. And that's how the first 4, we had names for the first 4. And then Jim came along, and when you have a baby in Switzerland, you have to give a girl's name and a boy's name before they even register you. So we quick on the spot made, as we were heading in, we made up a name, James Andrew, for my father. We wanted all 6 children to be JRs. Sort of tacky. Jim was a boy, that took care of that. Then when Judy came along, I loved the name Judith, but we didn't know what to put with Judith. Susie Rozier is Suzanne, and that's how you got to be Judith Suzanne. Judy Sue. And they all are fabulous, incidentally. I've been very, very blessed. In fact, scary it's to be so blessed with 6 great kids.